on KZAA AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Tiki Live, Rumble, Audible, Amazon Music, Podchaser, JioSawn, and about 28 other platforms. Why so many places? Because I want to maximize my splatter zone for more hope and happiness. So I have topics and guests to that end, and you'll see this beautiful being that is in my studio for the fifth time. He's affectionately known as my big brother. I will explain why later. But without further ado, I'm going to first just welcome him to the studio, Michael Bernard Beckwith. Good morning.
Good morning, Marissa K.
I'm so delighted that you're here, and I'm going to give you a formal introduction now, just so you can see your reaction and what you mean to so many people. Michael Bernard Beckwith is the founder and CEO of Agape International Spiritual Center, where I get my positive roots watered and my peace of mind fertilized. It's a trans-denominational community headquartered in LA, comprised of thousands of local members and global live streamers. I believe we're in the millions now. I think this might need to be updated. We just had our anniversary. In 2012, Dr. Beckwith addressed the UN General Assembly, too much coffee, during its annual World Interfaith Harmony Week. As co-founder and president of the Association for Global New Thought, he hosts conferences featuring harbingers of world peace, including His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and had the distinguished honor of presenting to Nelson Mandela the Gandhi King Award. My big brother is a sought-after meditation teacher, conference speaker, seminar leader on the life visioning process. 3 of his recent books, Life Visioning, Spiritual Liberation, yeah, my favorite, Transcendence, Dance, recipients of the prestigious Nautilus Award. He's an Oprah Winfrey 100 lister. You saw him on Super Soul Sunday, Super Soul Sessions, and Help Desk, Dr. Oz, CNN, Larry King Live, Tavis Smiley, has his own PBS special. The Answer Is You, and is a member. Oh, I already said that. And the Life Visioning is the top 15 books to solve a problem every Friday at 1. Thousands tune in to his radio show, Wake Up, the Sound of Transformation. And I was lucky enough to also be a guest there. That is the formal introduction. The informal introduction is really briefly, when I met Michael, I was the average angry, broken, sad, going through a divorce, and I hated my life. And through the process of individual transformation, I came to Agape, went to his classes, learned how to love myself, and most important, he taught me how to forgive when I thought I could not forgive, so that I was not living in this angry past that many of us are living. So from the bottom of my heart, I love you, and I am grateful for you, and I can never tell you how much more I appreciate you, and I'm honored that I'm known as your little sister, and I love you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, and congratulations on your 825th show. And I can remember when you began with less than nothing. And now that you have all of these viewers, you're touching so many hearts and souls around the globe. I'm just proud of you. And people are taking your advice, and these days you're using your own advice.
That title came in a dream at 4:30 in the morning too, by the way. And I knew exactly who I wanted on, and you were top of the list for guests. So thank you for returning. So the first question is always, how are you continuing to be who you are? And you haven't stopped. We just celebrated 36 years with Agape. A little change is you're actually letting people on for your secret on how you're staying so youthful. So before I forget to ask you about that, I know it's a wonderful new project that you've been on to share.
Mhm. Yeah, well, like you said, I've been teaching for 36 years at Agape, 40 years just pre-Agape. And I think what keeps me going, well, I know what keeps me going is I have tremendous gratitude for what I get to do. I never I never say I have to do anything. It's like I could be doing something else, but the way everything is unfolded in my life through my yes, I get to do what I do. I get to speak to thousands of people. I get to teach. I get to do classes. I get to do meditation retreats. And so at times it seems to be a lot. I mean, I just finished a lot of travel quite recently to Columbus, to Phoenix, to St. Petersburg. Um, but even in the midst of that, it was like, you know what? I get to do this. And so I think, first of all, being in that field of gratitude for what I get to do keeps me just available to the energy flowing through me. And then, of course, I have my own spiritual practice of a meditation, prayer, exercise. I try to put good nutrition in my body temple. For years, even before it was popular, things that are popular now, I was doing them years ago. I raised my kids on a plant-based diet. I raised my kids on having a smoothie every single morning. And so this is, and I had all these ingredients that I would use, the rhodiola and the maca and this protein powders and greens and all this stuff. It's very popular now. So now, I have my own product line called Adaptive Zen, and it's 47 different plant-based ingredients with adaptogens, probiotics, prebiotics, digestive enzymes. It's a superfood green drink that individual, you put it up there, that
Yeah.
individuals, and it tastes good. One scoop is your daily minimum requirement. Many people take more. And then I have my vitamin D3 K2, which is a great delivery system for the D to get where it needs to go. Because most people are vitamin D deficient, and it compromises their immune system. They end up catching colds, flus, and things like that. This assists with the immune system, and then the super green gives you good nutrition. So, for years I've started off every morning with that. So now I have my own product that I throw in my blueberries, my avocados, my different alternative drinks, and sometimes throw in spinach and things like that. And that kind of fuels me at the beginning of my day. I mean,
Fantastic.
as soon as we finish here, I'll make a little drink, I'll go to the gym, work out, then I'll come back and have my big smoothie, do my long time meditation, and keep going. Life is good. Life is good, Marissa. It's fantastic.
Yes, it is. Absolutely. And I'm so glad you said gratitude, because what I've been doing is starting. I think you were talking one day about the importance of gratitude. I know Dr. Wayne Dyer says 5 gratitudes in the morning. So I've been doing having breakfast with Dr. Marissa with our gratitude sandwich. So you take a bite of my gratitude sandwich with 8 specific things that you're grateful for. So we don't have that much time. So just your top 3 things that you're grateful for.
Well, I'll begin with what I just said. I'm grateful for what I get to do. Gratitude is a very powerful humility builder, because when you're in gratitude, you realize there's a life force flowing through you, and it's not your little self making it happen. There's actually something bigger about you that's taking over. So I'm grateful for what I get to do. I'm grateful
Yeah.
that I'm surrounded by people, as I mentioned on Sunday. I always tell people, when I began Agape, I used to tell people, surround yourself with people that want more for you than from you. And so when I look around that template of Agape, I look around my board of trustees, look around my staff, we all want more for each other than from each other. And
Mhm.
I'm grateful, that my family is so close. My son, my daughter, my grandkids, that everybody loves each other so deeply. And I see today so many families are splintered.
Mm.
There's so much trauma and drama, and I see brothers and sisters who haven't talked to each other for years and things like that. And it's no blame or shame about it. But when I look at my family and how close they are, I'm extremely grateful for that.
Beautiful. Then the bottom of the bun is 3 things that you appreciate about yourself. It's actually 8 before you go to bed, because a lot of people, like you said, live in that drama. And the last thing they do is think about who done them wrong or what I didn't get done today and how life sucks. And no wonder we have sleep problems with people. So what are 3 things that you appreciate about yourself? And maybe 3 things that you think people need to stop doing and start doing to appreciate themselves?
Oh my God. You mentioned a very powerful topic, and that's how you go to sleep at night. And you always want to make sure that you have a deep sense of forgiveness about anything that's going on during the day, anything that annoyed you, anything somebody said something about you or you heard or whatever. You don't want to go to bed with that. You want to go to sleep with the awareness that you're flying on the wings of the sweet glow of the spirit, and you're going to grow even as your body is sleeping. So you go to bed with tremendous forgiveness and gratitude. And then in terms of what I appreciate about myself, I appreciate my consistency. There's consistency and the stick-to-itiveness, so that momentum is always taking over from inertia. I appreciate, how I take care of my body temple, that I really see it as a temple of the living God. And so I'm aware of what I put in it. I appreciate, how I monitor my conversations, so that I never want to say what I don't want to experience. I don't want to talk bad about anybody. I don't want to say anything negative about anyone, about anything really. I just, I can call it fact a fact. But I appreciate that I have it in. Now it's just a habit. What comes out of my mouth is encouragement, it's blessing, it's inspiration. It's after so many years on the planet, I like Michael. Me plugging my plug here.
Yes, and it's so important. I say that that's the foundation to living a happy life. Is if you can't love yourself, how the fork do you expect someone else to love you?
Right. So the 3 things that I would have people release, if they have it, you have to release comparing yourself to anyone else. We're incomparable, we're incomparable. The living presence, or whatever name you choose to call it, is infinite, which means it doesn't do do-overs. So it got us right the first time. So we are unique expressions of infinite good. So sometimes people live in comparison to other people, and that brings them down. And we talk about this a lot. You want to come out of the frequency of complaining. Complaining is a public declaration of your inability to see a solution. And so you want to stay out of complaining. And then another one passed through my awareness. It'll come back to me, but it was a good one.
Well, this is the season of Thanksgiving. Yeah, and that's why I restarted yesterday. I'm announcing the 21-day fast from complaining with Dr. Marissa, which I've been doing since 2011. And that came out of Agape. That came out of the speaker Edwene Gaines, when she came and said, if you don't complain for 21 consecutive days, you will reach spiritual transcendence. And you know me, little competitive. So I'm like, I'm on. Yes. I've only accomplished it once, but that's okay for other people.
Establishing an intention, and you're making people aware that that's what brings you down. The third thing I was going to say is, don't put yourself in hell by thinking about what other people are thinking about you. That's a dimension of hell. If you're living in, I wonder what they're thinking about me, I wonder what they're thinking about what I'm thinking, then you put yourself in a frequency of hell. You only think about what the universe is thinking about you. And because the universe, so presence, created you out of itself, all it sees in you is potential, possibility, regardless of whatever experience you're going through right now. Your back may be against the wall, may not have any money, you may be sick, whatever's going on in your life. The presence only sees potential. So you don't want to think about what others may be thinking about you, because they're thinking about what you're thinking about them. You want to consider, how is the universe of presence seeing me?
Mm.
And so if you get rid of complaining, comparing, and thinking about what others are thinking about you, you're well on your way to having a dynamic peace of mind.
Mm. How beautiful. What an encourager you are. It's amazing the gift and that you're sharing. And thank you again if you've just tuned in and you're wondering who this good looking guy is in my studio. It's my big brother, Michael Bernard Beckwith. He's the founder of Agape International Spiritual Center and so much more. If you have any questions, please do put them in the chat. You are tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on NBC News Radio and home to the Asian Oprah. And this man is to blame or credit to that honorable moniker. When Oprah came to Agape, he introduced me to her. This is the Asian Oprah, and it stuck, and I'm grateful for it, and I love it. And thank you again for that. Question for you, and this is one that I, not struggle. I address it. I think it's a ever unfolding, thing for me. I try to love like you do. I don't do that well. You love in a capacity that is so embracing. I love with my human. I say often, God, love through me, because I cannot love that person. Yep. So is it possible to love all? And I do believe I strive to love everyone at least 88% of the time. But is it possible to love someone and not like them?
Oh, absolutely. Even Dr. King talked about the fact that we are to rise up and love people, even people we don't like. He said, because he went on to use an example. You don't like people that are bombing your house, threatening your children, giving you assassination attempts and things like that. But you still have to rise and love individuals. And that's our calling at this time on the planet, is to have that kind of love, because there's so much splintering and polarization, and people don't understand that they're being used to create separation, and they think that they hate somebody, and in fact they're being a puppet on the string of that which is causing polarization. So yeah, loving the way, I just finished a 4-day seminar with Bruce Lipton in St. Petersburg, and one of the topics that came up was the fact that the mind is programmed. I always say we have a mind, but we're not our mind, and our mind is a set of programs. And he says the same thing, that we've been programmed since a very young age. So what happens is you learn to love the being, but you don't like the programs. So if an individual was programmed, to be a racist, or a program to hate, or a program to put himself up and put others down, if he's programmed, he or she is programmed to steal, or whatever the deal is, that's a program, but it's not who they are. So when Yeshua ben Joseph, otherwise known as Jesus the Christ, said, "Forgive them, for they know not what they do," he was saying, in substance, these people are programmed to hate. They're programmed out of fear. They don't even know what they're doing. They think they're thinking. They believe they're thinking, but they're not. They're just operating from a program.
Right.
So it's easier to love someone when you understand that they're programmed, and that their real self is still hidden under that program.
Got it. What do you say to people who right now are not happy? They have a habit. They get up, they go to their phone, they see all the anger and drama and all that. They see their own family, dysfunction. I try to put the fun back in family dysfunction. They got laid off, they lost business, all the pandemic loss, and they just can't seem to get out of complaining or stating or looking at what is in front of them. How do you do a hard reset on someone? How does someone, they're tired of it, but they don't know what to do first?
Yeah, that's good. I like that hard reset. It's powerful.
Well, I got that from you.
The way you began, and I've used this example before, and I've heard other people use it. If you were to wake up in your bedroom in the morning, and your room was flooded with a bunch of people chit-chatting and talking about all the negative things, you just woke up and all these people are chit-chatting about all the negative things going on in the world. Oh, the climate's changing. Oh, the pollution. Oh, these people are doing that. How would you feel? You'd feel anxious, anxiety. When people go right to their phone and go right to the internet when they wake up, that's what they're doing. They're inviting thousands of people to come in and give them their little tiny opinions that don't matter at all about anything. So first of all, if you're going to do a hard reset, you can't start with going to the world. You have to start with going into your interiority, your own inner world. And as we've been talking, you go in and you begin to get a sense of anything to be grateful for. I could take this breath. My heart is beating. I have a full day of possibility. And then you begin to, from the sense of gratitude, you begin to say, this is what I do. I wake up with gratitude, and then I surrender to life. You can call life anything you want. Capital L, love, God, love, intelligence, beauty, whatever. You yield to it. So it's an inner yielding to it. And then you say, I am available for the strength and the inspired wisdom to do whatever assignment comes across my path today. That means anybody that comes into my life, I'm going to try to love. And I'm going to catch what I am to do in this incarnation for my life. Many people are caught up in the swell of the civilization. It's not too civil. They don't have an intention for their own life. They're just kind of reacting and respecting, not even responding. They're just reacting to circumstances in the world, but they're not living their own intention. Like right this moment, Marissa, the economy is going up and down, wars in the world, stocks, so many things is happening. But there are people right now that are waking up and saying, I have an intention today to be creative. I have an intention today to be prosperous. I have an intention today to start my business. I have an intention today to get my health back together. And they are not going down the rabbit hole of what's happening in the so-called world. They're living from their intention. Now, when you live from your intention, what happens? You become available to inspired wisdom. You become available to transformational knowledge, intuitive hits. Your intuition becomes more magnified. Your direct knowing becomes magnified. You're in the world, but you're of a higher frequency because you've established an intention and you didn't let the world just rush into your mind and program it with fear. It's silly to do that. You know, but let me just say this. We have to acknowledge that people are addicted to it. Addicted to the toxic chemicals that flow through their body when they're caught up in that. They think, I have drama, therefore I'm alive.
I'm so glad you said that.
You know,
that's one of my favorite things that I stole from you. I mean, I give you credit all the time, okay. But it's true. It's true. I am drama, and that is it's a habit. And one of the most important lessons I learned from you is unconditional love and unconditional happiness. It's not what we think it is. It's not like I'm going to love you no matter what. It is in spite of the condition. No matter what condition is happening around you, I'm going to love. I'm going to choose to be happy. I'm going to choose to look at the bright side. I'm going to choose to look at what I'm here to do. I'm one of a kind, wonderful, loving, loved, and lovable. And that's my, that's my marching orders. And I can set that in spite of the condition. I do not have to have knee-jerk reactions, emphasis on jerk, to everything that comes across my path.
Absolutely. Unconditional love means you are not, no one has the power to make me lower my frequency, to hate you or to resent you or despise you. I'm not going to give you the power to lower my vibration. You don't have that power. I mean, I don't like you. I don't like what you've done. I don't like what you said. I don't like what you've stolen. I don't like the betrayal, whatever it is, but I'm not going to give you the power to make me live at a lower frequency because of what you did or didn't do. You don't have that power to determine my destiny. My destiny is determined by my attitude, and it's determined by that develops my character, and then my character determines my destiny. No one else out there, regardless of what they said about me or done, has the power to determine my destiny. That's what unconditional love does. It sets you free. It sets you free. It sets you free. And then, as you use the word habit, it becomes habitual. You just, Sometimes you even have a little smile if somebody does something a little odd. Oh, wow, they're tripping. You just love them. Because as I've said over the years, every being is the same. The only thing that separates us is our habits. That's all.
Yeah.
You develop some good intentional habits, your life would change. Absolutely.
Yep.
Guaranteed.
Absolutely. Now, how do people find you to work with you? Because I know you're teaching some classes now,
Yeah.
and those people who have been already inspired and encouraged by you. I know that classes with you changed my life. That's why I bring you on too, to share you. That it's not the secret. It's not the secret.
Look now, it's out there now.
It's out. It's out. So I know you're teaching a couple things. I'm going to bring that up. This is Agape Live, the virtual home website. So what are you teaching now?
There's one class I'm teaching right now that they can't get in because tonight's the last class.
Oh,
Awake and Activate. But it will be pretty soon. It will be evergreen, so they can go to the Agape website, agapelive.com, and get it. But on January, I think it's the 17th, if that's a Tuesday, I'll be starting my Meditation 2.0 class. It's a 5-week class every Tuesday night, virtual class from 6 p.m. Pacific time to 8. And sometimes we run over, obviously. And people from all over the world will be tuning in. And so I'll take them through the different modes of meditation and teach what meditation really is. And then we'll practice every single evening so that people can begin to develop their meditation practice. It's for veterans and it's for newcomers. So the veterans, it'll just help keep the meditation sweet and consistent. And for the newcomers, it'll help them actually start their meditation practice, because that's the foundational piece of Agape. Meditation, affirmative prayer, life visioning, and sacred service. Those are foundational pieces of our community. That's a rich, diverse, inclusive community.
Mm-hmm. It is. And I'm so glad. I saw it on a banner one time. Michael Bernard Beckwith does not create followers like a cult. He creates leaders.
Yes.
And I am grateful for that. Now, before I let you go, could you set an intention now for our country, for Agape, for me, because I have you on my show? What do you see, or what do you set the intention for? Because I know your intentions are super powerful.
On a global scale, I want us to intend to move through the vicissitudes of an old paradigm dying and a new paradigm being born with a deep sense of peace, assurance, and vision. So right now, with the tumult that's happening in the world, there are systemic issues that don't work anymore. And they're dying, they're rising up really loud, but they're actually dying. And there's an under emergence of a paradigm of love and generosity and all needs met for all people. That's rising up. But in a condensate in quantum physics means that two things can occupy the same space at the same time. In Newtonian physics, it can't. But in quantum physics, it can, because everything vibrates at a different rate of speed. So at the same time, we're in a condensate. We have the old that's dying and the new that's rising. So I'm establishing intention for all of us as we're moving through this interesting time in human history, and that we're able to go through it with a deep sense of peace and a deep sense of vision about possibility. Without vision, people perish. So I want to establish an intention that people re-enchant their imagination about what's possible. Hold on to that while we're moving through these interesting times.
Beautiful. I've been calling it #UP, unlimited possibilities. So go up.
Yes.
Yes. And setting intention for me?
Oh my God. Well, this is your 825, right?
This is 552 consecutive weeks on the air, 9.5 years, and still going. They said that a show about hope and happiness would not last, and I'm so glad they're wrong. Tomorrow, I have I Love Lucy's daughter coming,
Oh, really?
by the
Yeah,
way.
yeah, yeah. But they said that about Oprah too, when she decided not to do drama and started to do, uplifting stories, and brought me and my cohorts on to teach about secret and the law of attraction and things of that particular nature. They said the same thing about her, that she'd be gone in 2 years, and she outlasted everyone. So the experts and the pundits often don't really know what people really, really want. So as I see you, I do an intention prophecy.
Okay.
So the intention is that you touch more people than you could possibly imagine, and that those lives are changed for the better. And that and when I move into the prophetic zone, I see that the harmonizing prosperity flood your life. I see a great sense of peace and joy that's not tied to anything but your being, and you're surrounded by love. It's just it's a love thing that's happening in your life that's going to be very, very fertile and beautiful for you.
谢谢大哥. I knew you were going to make me cry, but tears are the disinfectant that keep your heart soft. And I love when I make people cry on my show, but you did it to me. Any last, thank you so much. That was beautiful. Any last words before I let you go? Otherwise, Lee's going to kill me. She was very clear. 30 minutes. So any last words?
I did. First of all, thank you for having me on. Thank you for being just a great presence, even at Agape, singing and your countenance of joy that you bring. And I just want to tell everyone that when you tune in to Marissa and you listen to the wonderful people she has on there, you may not understand the fact that when you get a smile on your face, you have a little bit of hope, a little bit of joy, you are slowing down your aging process. You are balancing your immune system. You're having a cascade of tonic chemicals flow through the body temple. You are healing yourself. We have an inner pharmacy. We have it inside. And everybody is always trying to reach outside for a pill to take, but you have an inner pharmacy that's activated by hope and vision and service and love. You hang with those qualities and what she's trying to bring you, and you'll see your life manifest better than you've ever imagined. I know that after 40 years of teaching, I've seen it over and over and over again. And it's a long practice.
Well, that says it all. I so am grateful beyond. I'm going to present you with Dr. Marissa's Beneficial Presence on the Planet Award. You know where I got that?
That's beautiful. I received it. And as you said earlier, I invite people to come check us out at agapelive.com. Live services every Sunday, classes, come in person at 11 a.m. It's a beautiful community, and Marissa is one of our vibrational pillars.
谢谢. Yes, come to the Saban Theater, come to Beverly Hills, go to agapelive.com, go to michaelbernardbeckwith.com, get his superfood if you want to be as young as he is and ageless as I am. This is Dr. Marissa reporting live with Michael Bernard Beckwith. We'll be right back after the break with more footage from the Elton John 2000th final concert in U.S. Thanks so much again, Big Brother. I love you.
Thank you so much.
Peace in.
I had a different frame, but if you're more focused.
Welcome to the new sound of online radio.
People are actually using it to heal themselves and get themselves and their friends and family to inner peace. And today, I can't think of a better guest to wrap up just for this month. Not that we are not celebrating peace all year round, moment by moment, but especially for this month, the topic of peace, and put a dynamic bow around it than Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith. Dr. Beckwith is a living testament to building spiritual community. In 1986, he founded the Agape International Spiritual Center, where I get my positive roots watered. He and other peacemakers and spiritual leaders have worked towards peace on the planet, including His Holiness the Dalai Lama, Dr. Ariyanti of Sri Lanka, and Arun Gandhi, grandson of Mahatma Gandhi. He's the co-founder and current president of the Association for Global Thought, an organization dedicated to planetary healing and transformation. Dr. Beckwith is the originator of the life visioning process, which he teaches throughout the country, along with meditation, scientific prayer, and spiritual beliefs of selfless service. His books include Inspirations of the Heart, 40-Day Mind Fast Soul Feast, and a Manifesto of Peace, and my favorite, Spiritual Liberation. In 2003, he was written into the Congressional Record of the 107th Congress and is the recipient of the 2004 Africa Peace Award, the Howard Thurman Stained Glass Window Award by Morehouse College, and the Humanitarian Award of the National Conference for Compassion and Justice. I know him as my big brother because he has taught me how to see myself as a precious child of the universe, how to forgive everything and everyone, and how to live a life worth living by being a beneficial presence on the planet. Please welcome to the studio, Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith. Hello, big brother.
Hello, sis. How are you?
I am so happy and grateful to have you on again. I know how fortunate I am because your schedule is so busy, and I know there's quite a few people who say, how do you get him on your show? And I've been asking for 3 or 4 years, but I'm not going to rub it in. I'm just being grateful and very happy.
Well, it's my joy to be with you, as you've done over 111 and counting, and it's my joy to be with you in that number, that we can inspire individuals to be that beneficial presence and that download of good on the planet. Yes. I'm glad to be here with you.
Thank you very much. So the topic, and you speak to everything well, but I wanted us to focus on peace only because this was the official day celebration. It has the danger of just being swept away as, okay, that day's over until next year. And especially with what's going on the planet right now, and the U.S. looking like we're going back to war, when I thought we were finally getting to a place, bringing people back from the war in the Middle East. Am I being naive? Am I smoking something to think that world peace is even possible? Is it?
No, I don't think so. There's something called conscious naivete, and that the people who've made a mighty difference on the planet had what I call a conscious naivete, and that is they knew what they were seeking to do on the planet, whether it's to end hunger or to bring about world peace or to clean up the environment, whatever the issue that systemic to us seems to be. They have to carry a kind of a naivete that it is possible,
right,
and to be consciously aware, because the other alternative is resignation. And so you can either be consciously naive that you can do something, or you can resign, have a level of resignation that you can't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not, you don't have to be courageous to go into resignation. You don't have to, there's no sense of compassion or love if you just resign yourself to facts as they are.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody can just resign themselves and try to be anti-board until you die. But it is individuals who actually know that what they're facing is daunting,
mm-hmm.
and work at it anyway, that have made a significant difference on the planet throughout history, whether it's been in the area of architecture, whether it's been the area of healing, medicine, education, business. You find the innovators of all of these domains were people who at times were called naive, or they were out of their mind, or they were operating in some paradigm that most people hadn't caught up to yet.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good that you're naive. And then we have to be aware that when we talk about peace, we have to define what peace is. And peace is, as I describe it, it is the dynamic of harmonizing good. So it's a quality that's within us. And oftentimes people have a tendency to think that peace is the absence of conflict or the absence of negativity. But that's not really peace. Peace is when a certain quality is evident. For instance, you can walk into a room and there might be two people there who aren't arguing, they're not fighting, but you can pick up in the energy that there's not peace there. That they're at odds with each other, that they don't like each other, that there's something going on, even though they may not be fighting. And so peace would not be evident in that consciousness, even though there's no conflict. Right. But you can also walk into a room and you can see two people there who are disagreeing on a particular point, but the environment is full of peace because they're mature enough to be able to speak with individuals that don't necessarily agree with them, but still have within their consciousness the activation of peace or of love, patience, kindness, and compassion. So when we speak of peace, we're talking about a quality that is as real as love, harmony, beauty, power. And so you've had people on your program that speak to the consciousness of inner peace, they speak to the consciousness of getting to inner peace through forgiveness and things of this particular nature. So when we talk about world peace, now we're talking about a consciousness of individuals who are no longer suppressing peace, because peace is everywhere, just like the presence of God is, except where it's being suppressed by a limited paradigm or a limited point of view. Okay. So if a person is living in a very myopic point of view, they're living mainly in their animalistic awareness, the reptilian brain, then they're suppressing peace. It's there, but they're suppressing it. It's just like, you went surfing the other day. Yeah. And you were on that sweet ocean. Now, the water's wet. The ocean is there. And you didn't have to pray for the water to be wet. You didn't have to pray to God to let the water be wet for waves to come, But there are individuals who've never gotten in the water who would say, oh my God, there's no water. There's no water. I can't get wet. I can't get wet. Well, they're suppressing their experience by not getting into the water. So water's there. So the same way, peace is here. But we have to be mature enough, consciously naive enough to stop suppressing it. Okay. So it becomes the activity of our awareness.
So when people say, the traditional vision of peace is the monk sitting under the Bodhi tree and just sitting there and doing nothing. So what I heard you say, peace is a quality. It's an action almost. The dynamic, harmonizing good, that's an action.
Yeah, it's dynamic. It's a dynamic of the dynamic of harmonizing good. Okay. That's within us. Okay. So you can be at peace sitting under the Bodhi tree. You could be at peace in traffic. You can be at peace washing dishes. You can be at peace speaking to a so-called adversary.
Okay, let's go there. So how does someone who vastly and just ultimately disagrees about everything, let's say the best example is the Jews and the Palestinians. There's nothing in common, or that there can be that fundamental meeting point. How do they come to peace? How is that possible?
Well, first of all, they agree on most things. Okay. They agree. They come from the same root religiously, and the dietary situations are the same. They agree that they want peace for their families and want protection and education for their families and kids. They agree on most things. What the issue is land, and the amends that need to take place regarding of the uprooting of certain people, Palestinians, and the moving forward that Israel is not going anywhere. So there needs to be, so when you go over there, and I meet people who are there all the time, when you talk to not the governments, that's a different awareness than the people. When you talk to a lot of the people, they have a lot of love and relationships with Jews having with Palestinians have it with Jews. And when you speak from a government, you're speaking from an entrenched, myopic, small, selfish consciousness run by politicians. When you speak of the people want peace. And but when governments get in the way of that, now you're speaking about a whole blockage of what's trying to emerge at that thing, at that space. So you can't believe what the corporate media would give you in terms of there being at odds. Of course, there are extremists on both sides.
Right.
When you meet in the middle, where most of the people live, you're not going to find a lot of haters. You're going to find a lot of people who are saying there's a way out of this.
Right.
So it begins with forgiveness, because you've been speaking about forgiveness.
Yep.
So if you got a number of Palestinians and put them in a circle, and they talk to each other of their heartbreaks and the death and the kids being killed in the Gaza, and they were surrounded by Jews. Okay, and they just heard without interrupting what the Palestinians were feeling. And then you reverse that, and you put the Jews in the center, and you surrounded them by Palestinians, and Palestinians got to hear of the heartbreak of the Jewish people, their fear for the death of their kids and their nation, etc. Then what would be birthed, and without interruption, and you'd feel the tears and the sadness moving through the Palestinians, the tears and the sadness moving through those Israelis. What would be birthed ultimately would be being able to see something from another person's point of view, which is the birth of compassion. With the birth of compassion, there's understanding. When there's understanding, dialogue emerges. When dialogue emerges, then a way out of no way emerges. But when you have the extremist, the governments, politically speaking to their issue only. And this happens every country. You don't have to look at Palestine and Israel. You can look at any country.
Right. Especially,
and every country always demonizes the so-called enemy, and their country is 100% always right, which is an impossibility.
Right.
When you deal with governments and the the propaganda that comes from governments, whatever government is speaking, they're 100% right, and the other individuals are 100% wrong. They're demonized, they're evil, they're negative. So therefore, the people are hypnotized into the pseudo-patriotic viewpoint, and therefore that limited perception hinders the peace that's there. So it begins with education. It begins with, as our Native American brothers would say, it begins with walking a mile in the moccasins of the other.
Right. Right. Absolutely. And I'm reminded, you mentioned media, and I don't want to blame the media, because we also, what we watch, what we want to watch gets continued to be put in front of us. But I was at the mosque the other day, another celebration of peace that we had, that we co-sponsored, Reverend Wilkins, and I went there, and it was really interesting. Marianne Williamson spoke there. She's been on my show, and it was very interesting. She raised, her own, you watch the beheadings, right? And so then you want to go to war. You hear the Hitler and you hear of atrocity, and you want to go to war. And the thing we don't question sometimes is, what is the truth here? Is it really what is being put in front of us? And one Sunday you said this, a brilliant thing. I mean, you say brilliant things a lot. I'm biased. But the one thing you said was that media has become weapons of mass distraction.
Yes.
And so when people tell me, well, what do you want to do? I say, I want a broadcasting company that presents balance, that presents the good news and the bad news, or that all angles of the truth, because it isn't black and white. So if you are tuning in to any kind of news that is firing up to want you to fight and to be at war, is to step back and go, is that really the truth?
Right.
Of the million things that could be reported right now, of the million things, and that's why I love technology and Facebook and social media. I go on hunts to find the good stuff. I go on hunts to find the guy who's now teaching Palestinian and Israeli children how to dance together.
Yes.
I mean, that doesn't get on the news, right?
No.
Well, the beheadings get on the news, or the atrocities get on the news.
You have two or three beheadings, and then you have hundreds of people singing and dancing together, hundreds of people having celebration together, hundreds of people doing schools together, hundreds of people doing. But as you indicated, those are not on the front page of the
Right.
newspaper,
Right.
nor are they leading they're not the leading news reports on our media. What leads is what bleeds, as we used to say back
Yeah.
in the old days. If it
Yes.
bleeds, it leads.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what fires up people into fear and doubt and worry. And once a person is in fear, they can be controlled a lot easier.
So how can we make a difference if governments and the media are fueling a path towards war and towards, I woke up with this term called planet patriotism. We will always be at war if our country is the best country and everybody else can go to, hell in a
Right.
handbasket, right?
Absolutely. I used to say a long time ago that whether you're America or Russia, whatever, is not, you don't want to be number one. You want to rise up and be one with the one. And right now, the myopic point of view is always saying we're number one. And again, it's a pseudo patriotism.
Mhm.
And but it's not real.
Right.
So every major movement in society has come from small groups of people who are able to articulate the truth. Can you still see me, by the way?
Yep. Travis says, yeah.
All right. I just wanted to make sure because my screen just went out. So
Oh, it did? Okay.
Okay, I'm back. Small groups of people who became impervious to the weapons of mass distraction, became impervious to malicious hypnotism, and were able to, on a regular basis, speak to vision and possibility and speak to the next stage of our evolution.
Yeah.
And this is what's going on now when you were speaking about Facebook and the internet and things of that particular nature. You find a lot of people communicating with people around the world now.
Yes.
Uh,
I have
years
listeners.
ago, you couldn't do that.
Yeah.
You know, you would think that the guy over in another country was someone bad. Now people are talking to each other and discovering that we all agree that we want peace, we want safety, we want our children to grow up free and safe, to have a good education, to have good nutrition. We want air we can breathe. You know, we agree on more things than we disagree on.
Yes.
You see,
Yes.
and that's what needs to lead in our real news.
Yeah.
That we agree. Now, if we agree, if everyone agrees, how are we going to take the next step? Now, if you begin to ask those type of questions,
yeah,
you know, what are the next steps to take? Then the mind will begin to be open to the next steps. But if we're stuck in "I hate you,"
right,
and you're the most evil person on the planet, we can't even get to the empowering questions.
True.
And then the only people that are making money are those that are making weapons and selling them on the black market and creating conditions for war and hate, so that the weapons that are created and you know, we had as citizens, even in the United States, we have to wake up because we fund a lot of that. You know, we fund a lot of the weapons that are made, and then when they become semi-obsolete, they're sold to people around the world. And you know, I was looking on the news the other day, a couple of weeks ago, and they were speaking about ISIS. They were speaking about these different terrorist groups. And when you look really close on the news, you could see that some of these people were driving Fords, and they had weapons that were made in the United States. Right. You know, and they didn't plunder the Pentagon and steal this stuff. They had to get it from somewhere.
Exactly.
And so,
yeah,
we have to be very vigilant.
That whole, I never realized that war really, above everything else, is a business.
Oh my God.
And prison is a business.
Billions of dollars.
Right.
Somebody's making billions of dollars off of death and destruction and hate.
And the worst common denominator of humanity.
Yes.
So that's where we have to stop going. So I don't watch TV.
We have to be aware of that.
Right. Not naive.
The conscious people now have to begin to create the other market so that peace is sexy and profitable.
Yes.
You see, that the green movement is sexy and profitable. The ecological movement is sexy and profitable. Yeah. You're seeing the beginning of the emergence of that with solar panels and things of that particular nature.
Organic food.
That's a growing market.
Yeah.
That and when the market of green and the market of you know, the ecology and the market of real education and real medicine, which is emerging, starts to outstrip, which is beginning now. I mean, most people don't realize that more people went to holistic medicine over the last few years than traditional medicine. That's not on the front page, however.
Right. Interesting.
So there are emerging peaceful markets that give us an indication that we're in the middle of a great transformation.
I absolutely agree.
You
And
know?
I'm so glad about that.
Yeah. And the corporate news is not a news of vision. It's a news of basically describing an old paradigm and an old decadent way of life, with broadcasting with music and all manner of things. People think that this is normal. This is going to happen for forever. And what you're doing, you are on the edge of the emerging paradigm, describing what it could possibly look like. That's real news. Everything else is the old.
Well, that's the only reason why my numbers have exploded. It's not me, it's the message. And the message is one of hope and happiness. And that's what we're supposed to be in. Life is supposed to be that good feeling. Life is supposed to be finding out what your unique talent, gift, and ability is, and discovering and then honing it, and then leaving the planet a better place than when you found it.
Yes.
And all of this I got from guess who?
That's our message every single week, one way, shape, form, or
That's
another.
right. That's right. And it's such a, and people, you know, even when people say, how are you? And I've been doing this ever since I got to Agape, is just saying happy. And people go, oh, that's good. What are you happy about? And it's like, no, it's just a choice.
It's just.
And I still do, and I can't believe we're out of time, but let me just give some love to that was my big brother, Michael Bernard Beckwith, and I hope you enjoyed his words as much as I always do. And I just love Throwback Thursday because I get to spotlight fabulous interviews from my show treasure chest. And you got a bit of the first one and the whole of the last one, and there's more. He's all over my playlist, so just feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and then you'll get an alert every weekday morning for this show about hope and happiness. And just grateful that he saw me on the emerging paradigm, and we continue with that. It's all about balance. Peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace. Thanks for joining me this morning. Tomorrow's Straight Talk with myself and Ricky Rebel. So I'll see you all tomorrow. Now have the best day ever.
Take back your